Hey guys.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. No, no, no. Hey guys, I'm Sid,
I'm Ariel.
and welcome to
It's worth a laugh.
Welcome back to another episode.
Howdy.
Howdy, y'all.
Ooh. Okay, Southern Belle.
You said howdy.
I know.
How else
Southern.
was I supposed to reply to
No,
howdy?
I know, but okay, Southern Belle. Get it? Ooh. In the
No.
puffy dress going to the Kentucky Derby.
Yup. The horse I was gonna bet on didn't win. I'm glad I didn't bet.
Which one were you going to bet on?
Well, because everyone was talking about, so apparently there's a curse, quote unquote curse, that whatever horse is number 17 hasn't won in the last, it was like 20 years or something crazy like that. So they say it's like a cursed number. But the horse that was in number 17 had a really good chance of winning and even beat some of the horses that was in that race, um, previously this year.
Mm-hmm.
And was like an offspring of like two of the best horses or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know. And his name was Sandman, I think.
Sandman.
Yeah. I don't know. Seemed cool.
That's
And I was
kinda
like, I like
cute.
the backstory. So I was gonna, if I was going to, I was gonna put like, I don't know, like $5 on him to win.
Hey, whatever.
Just for shits and giggles. But he didn't win anyways, I don't think. So
Mm.
guess it's a good thing.
Yeah.
We did go to the casino last night though.
We
Which was
did.
fun.
We
We did
lost.
awful though.
Oh, yeah.
To the
And-
point that we had extra money and we're like, we're doing so bad tonight.
Yeah,
that
it's not even.
we like almost weren't even having fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fun.
No, and I do enjoy going to the casino, but at the same time, you can only spend so much money without like completely losing interest.
Right. And
So
normally, like, I'm okay with losing money because, like, we're having fun. And we obviously were having fun. But, like, normally we can get them, even though we don't gamble with that much money, like, we usually can make
Mhm.
it last. And it was just going so quick that
Yeah.
it was like,
couldn't do anything.
yeah.
Couldn't get any bonuses. Couldn't
No, it
get
was
any like mini
crazy.
games. Nothing. It just,
And we went with Chris and Michaela. It was like a last minute
yeah.
get together.
And fucking Chris is hitting all of them.
It's true. Chris
I
did
was
well.
like, what the
And
fuck?
Michaela hit a double bonus, which like is kind of rare in itself, which usually you do like phenomenally hit
Mhm.
a double bonus. Between the two bonuses, she
She
got
got
20
20
cents.
cents.
She didn't even make back her bet.
Mm-mm.
How crazy is that?
It's wild.
I've never seen that happen.
Speaking of casino.
Oh yeah, just so you guys know, like this episode, we're just gonna kind of
Yeah,
had
it's more like just an update.
yeah, we've had some fun things happen recently, so we're just gonna give you all the tea.
So let me go through my calendar. See what we've. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we've been busy, and we are fairly busy these next few weeks leading up to. So
Yeah. Okay. So we'll start with. Start with Jade's birthday.
I think we did talk about that.
Oh, did we? Oh yeah, because yep. Okay, so really we just have Foxwoods
Okay.
that weekend after. So my friend Kenzie, who I work with, we became pretty close, and she was turning 24 a couple weekends ago. And she wanted to go down to Puerto Rico, but wanted like a whole group to go. We couldn't figure out how to make that work. So she thought maybe Encore in Boston.
Her problem with Puerto Rico, I'm sure people would have been down, was she waited a little too
Mhm.
last minute to be like booking flights. And
Yeah.
also, like, Puerto Rico is a lot of fun, but that's a short trip for Puerto
Yeah.
Rico to only do a weekend.
Yeah.
So that's where her downfall was.
Yeah.
People were down,
Yeah.
clearly.
So then Sid suggested Foxwoods. So she looked into Foxwoods and was like, yeah, let's do that. So we looked into an Airbnb. At first, there was supposed to be 12 of us going.
Mm-hmm.
So when we booked the first Airbnb, it was massive, and
Yeah.
we booked it. So I was like, okay, whatever. I'll book it for now, and then once we get the final number, like, we can go from there. Well, the final number started dwindling down to where we thought we only had 5 of us going at one point.
And might I add, that 5 included me, Ariel, and the birthday girl.
Yep.
So there was only 2 other people that,
Yep.
out of like the 12, that were committed to going.
Yes.
After we booked the Airbnb.
Yes. So it was like, well,
And
Well,
we
look.
we realized, no joke, 49 hours after we had originally booked it,
Mm-hmm.
an Airbnb because it was like a kind of last minute ish booking. Airbnb's policy is
48
48
hours
hours to get your refund back
after
after that.
booking. Yeah.
Because it was such like a last minute booking. And thankfully the Airbnb hosts were like super nice, and I messaged them and I was like, I'm so sorry. I know we're literally like an hour over, but we just had a bunch of people back out, clearly fairly last minute. Is there any way you can make an exception? Because we're only over by like an hour. If not, like, completely understand. But we'd really appreciate it if you did. And thankfully they came through. And you got that money back, right?
I don't actually know.
Chunky hopped up on the table for those who are not watching.
Yeah, so you got the kitty butthole. Boogie.
I know, it still sucks. We need to figure out a little bit of a better situation for this, because we can't shut the door to our spare bedroom when we're recording, because we use an outlet out there for the ring light and the camera, which means the boys are always able to get in.
I don't actually. I don't think so.
We'll have to check that after we're done recording then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, we'll check after. But either way, we have it in written that they said that they would do it anyways. But either way, so then we're like, okay, well, if it's just the 5 of us, we'll book a smaller Airbnb. So we're looking around. We found one super cute, and we waited like a day or two to make sure that it was the one we wanted.
Gentle.
And long story short there, we booked it. Then, and we have like 2 weeks until it's time to go. Probably not even like 4 or 5 days before we go, we're back up to 12 people going, and now we have low-key a
way smaller house.
Airbnb. Not that it was tiny, but like we now booked it with the intention of having 5 to 6 people, maybe 7, and now it's back up to 12. I mean, we made it work. Some people slept on air mattresses.
Yep.
There was like 2 or 3 people in a room at one point. Like, we made it work. It was whatever. Yeah. For legal reasons, we only had the people that we booked there. But yeah. You want to talk about the whole weekend, though, and how it went down?
Sure. So we left right after work on Friday. Kenzie and Gabby were supposed to be already making their way down, but they had gone out the night before and didn't get home until the morning of.
Because it was Kenzie's birthday on Thursday.
So they went out, and Kenzie had the day off, and so did Gabby. So
thank God.
Yeah.
Respectfully, by the time they got back from being out all night, you were already 2 hours into your shift.
Work day. Yeah.
Imagine if they didn't have the day off.
No.
They wouldn't have done that, obviously, if they knew they had to work. But that's crazy. I was already up at my office. I'd already commuted an hour.
So Kenzie texts me and she goes, hey, Gabby and I think, like, me and Gabby, I think are going to need a ride down. Like, we don't know if we can drive. We're still, like, pretty hungover. And I was like, absolutely, whatever you need. I was like, I'm getting out of work at this time. Hopefully they'll let me out early and we can head down. Kenzie gets here. Girl is dead.
Poor thing was struggling.
I know. I felt so bad. So we drive down to Foxwoods. We pick up Gabby. We drive down to Foxwoods.
Well, first we stop at McDonald's because they needed some fluids that were not consistent of alcohol.
Yes.
And some food. So we stopped at McDonald's. And also, it's funny, I got an ice cream cone. That's the only thing I got from McDonald's. And Gabby said she wanted one too because it sounded good. When's the last time? Does anybody know the last time that McDonald's offered peanuts for their ice cream? Because Gabby was all upset because they didn't have nuts for her ice cream.
Well, we pull up to the drive-thru
It was
and
funny.
she looks at this guy and goes, do you have any nuts? Or do you have nuts? And he's like, what?
He was like so taken back.
She's like, for my ice cream? And he goes, no, we don't have nuts anymore.
I tried to tell her. I order ice cream from McDonald's all the time.
We all did.
But it was so funny. She's like, they used to have it. I know it. And maybe they did, but I genuinely cannot remember the last time I've seen that on their menu. So I'm curious if anybody remembers that or knows when. Let us know.
Yeah. So then we're continuing our drive down to Foxwoods, and Kenzie drops on us that she did not go pick up the Canada to go order, or in fact,
Even
place.
place it.
So we then go to Stop and Shop.
Yep.
And we go in and we grocery shop for everybody.
And we bought a lot more than we needed to. Which is expected.
Yeah.
That's why the
I think
online
it was
order
like,
probably should have been the move, because
yeah.
then you actually like stuck to the list
Yeah.
and everything. When everybody's like excited for the weekend, Gabby and Kenzie are still recovering. Anything you see is gonna look good.
Mm-hmm.
And people were just throwing stuff in the car. Me too. I'm guilty of it too.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot more was spent than anticipated.
Yes.
It was fun though.
It
Like,
was fun.
I felt like I was back in college, just like throwing goodies
Mm-hmm.
in the cart for a hangout.
Yep.
And then we checked into the Airbnb. We unpacked a tiny bit. I hung out by the fire, helped
Mm-hmm.
Gabby and Casey start, and Abdul, because they were struggling a tiny bit to make the fire. So I stepped in and helped, thankfully, while you and Kenzie made dinner.
Yes, we made chicken parm,
which was really good.
It was really good. Very good. And then we all got dressed after that to try and go to the casino. And we were going to order an Airbnb. Or, sorry, an Uber. We were going to order an Uber.
Yep.
Little did we know, an Uber's not going to come fucking pick us up at this Airbnb, even though we're literally only 20 minutes away.
Yeah, we were not that far.
No.
I mean, a part of it was that we were trying to get an Uber at, like, it was like 10:30 at night. So it was a little bit later.
But the next day we will also find that
Yes.
we just struggled getting an Uber from there.
Which we really didn't think was going to be that much of a problem.
No, not for 20 minutes, though.
No. I mean, because there's plenty to do in the area.
Right. Do you think they're not going to pick us up because we're over state lines?
No.
Okay.
I don't think that would have much to do with it. It's like within a radius of where you are. It doesn't have to do about
20 minutes is not that bad.
No.
You drive 20 minutes in Boston to get from one place to another.
That is true.
So, like, it was weird to me, I guess. So we're sitting there and we're trying to order this Airbnb.
Uber.
Oh my God. We're trying to order this Uber, and Abdul and I agreed to take this Uber together, and everybody else will hop in the car, in my car.
That way we didn't have to take two.
Yes. So we have this guy confirm, and Abdul and I are like ready to go.
He's like 2-3 minutes away.
Cancels.
Like, bro,
I'm like, what the frick?
We just waited a half an hour just to even confirm a ride. Never mind. And I was like, if we get one in the next 5-10 minutes, we'll do it. If not, how does everybody feel about us squishing 7 people into our car?
5-person vehicle.
And long story short there, Uber clearly never came.
Yeah.
And I hadn't started drinking yet or anything. And so I was like, let's just hop in the back and we'll make it work. Come to find out, the trunk is not as roomy as I thought it was. We've always only ever had one person back there when we've had to do this.
Right. Well, and I also think, like, my Chevy Trailblazer was different.
Yeah.
And I think that's really the only time we've had a bunch of people in the trunk.
Maybe.
Mine is definitely more slanted, so you can't, like, sit up and
yeah,
close
the back
it.
seats are, like, at a pretty tough angle to be able to, like... There's not much room between the headrest of the back seat and the window for... Like, it's wide on the bottom, but very narrow at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And Kenzie's tiny, so she hopped in the back. And then Ariel tried to get in there, but it just, like, wasn't working. So then, thankfully, I was able to, like... If I was, like, laying on my side, I was able to fit in the back with her. So I was like, let's just do it. Ariel ended up driving because she hadn't started drinking yet either. And we made it work. Except when I tell you, my leg has never been so numb in my life. Because we couldn't move. Like, once we were back there and the door was shut, there was little to no adjusting. Kenzie's leg was numb too, but when I say I got out of that trunk and my foot hit the ground, I actually could not feel it. I was, like, shaking my leg for fun, and it was Jell-O. It was crazy. I had never felt like that before. Like, I now know what it feels like to be, like, paralyzed, I think.
Oh! I don't think you could say that.
Why? Like, have you ever truly thought about, like, what it feels like when, like, we only know when our foot touches the ground what it feels like.
I guess.
And when I say my foot hit the ground, I could not feel it. I tried moving my toes. I could not move my toes. That's what I mean.
Cut off all the blood flow.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's what I'm saying though. Like, and I can't think of
Another way
another
to
way that
explain
it
it.
would feel like.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. I wasn't trying to be like offensive or like crack a joke. Like I genuinely now think I know what it feels like.
Mm.
I hope to never have to do that
Yeah.
or feel that again or be paralyzed, obviously. But it was interesting.
So we get to the casino. We're going to veer off topic here.
Sorry.
We're going to get to the casino. And we all hop out of this car. We look like a clown car. We go into the casino. And this night we really just hung out.
Yeah, everyone was kind of tired. Like, you guys had, and me, we had basically all worked. Even though Kenzie and Gabby had the day off, they were clearly still recovering a tiny bit. So it was a fairly chill night.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't even technically eat dinner until 8 or 8:30 because we were stuck in traffic, and then we went grocery shopping, and then we made dinner. So the day/night ended up starting later than we had anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
But it honestly, it really worked out because we went to the casino. We went to Foxwoods, obviously. We hung out. Some of the people who like didn't really gamble that much or had never even been to a casino, Ariel and I kind of took the opportunity to show them some of our favorite slot machines. I had even explained like how to play roulette. We showed some people how to play craps. Like, it was a good night to like spend a little bit of money, but because everyone was all tired and didn't stay out super late, everyone was able to save their money for Saturday, which was the like main night where we had the dinner reservation, everything like that. So I think we were at the casino for like 3 hours, maybe 3.5 max. But it was pretty chill. We all had fun. We were down come Friday night. We all hopped in the car, went back to the house. Ariel and I called it a night. We're like,
we went right to bed.
We're kind of the outcasts of the group in that sense that like when we're tired,
we'll take the opportunity to go to bed at any point.
Yeah, so they all stayed up until I don't even know what time at a fire, hanging out, doing their thing. We wake up the next morning, everyone slept in, and Ariel and I attempted to make breakfast.
Dude, the pots and pans at this fucking Airbnb were the worst pots and pans I have ever used in my entire life.
I think I probably could have made breakfast faster and better if I was trying to cook over an open flame on a paper plate.
Absolutely.
Like, genuinely.
They were not non-stick pans, so they were just
everything stuck to them.
Pans,
they were old-ass pans, super cheap. Everything was sticking to them no matter what it was. And yes, we were using, like, spray, we were using butter, we were using everything.
It did not matter.
It did not matter. On top of that, because they were old and, like, clearly they're on Airbnb, so nobody's, like, super taking care of them, they were extremely warped. So, of course, only the center was touching the heat thing because it was an electric stove.
Yes, I'm trying to make my fucking pancake.
So, the center was burning, but the outside was cold. So, you had to have it high to even try to, like, heat the outside of the pan. It was miserable. And it was an old electric stove, which also didn't help. And none of the knobs were labeled because it was so old. So, you had to guess which burner you were turning on. You had to guess what, like, temperature it was at. Oh my gosh, I was getting so frustrated. And then, like, I was trying to make hash browns, like the shredded hash browns that come frozen. Normally, all you have to do is, like, spray the pan a tiny bit, put a little butter in or something. And you literally just stir it up every once in a while to, like, heat up the potato. And then you let it sit there for a little bit and you flip it. That's, like, all you have to do, right? Everything was sticking. It literally ended up turning into mush. It was so much of mush that I took it and I mashed them into patties and put them in the air fryer. But then the air fryer won't close and it's like half working. And I go to take it out, like the first batch of patties, I take it out, a screw just randomly falls out of the air fryer bin as I'm dumping the patties onto the plate. I was like, literally, what else could be going wrong? I was ready to throw a pan out the window.
Yeah. Yeah,
it was so frustrating.
Not a good time trying to cook there.
And it took forever, too. Literally, we made pancakes, bacon that we put in the oven,
Yep.
and hash browns. That's all we made, and it took us like an hour and a half. We didn't even
Oh,
we,
and
we didn't even eat breakfast until 12:30. Eggs.
eggs and
Oh, corned beef hash. So I
corned beef
guess we
hash.
actually did make a good amount of food.
But still, it should
Not
not have
enough
taken
to
that
make
long.
to take that long. Well, because the problem was like there was only like one good pan,
Mm-hmm.
so we would like make something and it would be done, and then we'd have to like wait to make
Yeah,
let it cool off so we can clean the good pan and then use the good pan. Oh my gosh, it was
it
miserable.
was
I was getting
awful.
very frustrated.
Yeah.
Very frustrated. But that went well.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone enjoyed it. At that point, Aaliyah came
Mm-hmm.
and joined. Casey left around that time too, and she ended up going home. Everyone kind of just chilled for a little bit because we knew it was going to be a late night and everyone was going to have a good time.
And our dinner reservation wasn't until 8:15.
Yep.
So we were also waiting for Aaliyah's roommate Maddie to show up.
Mm-hmm. So everyone kind of like napped, relaxed. We
Mm-hmm.
didn't actually fall asleep. We just went on our phone for a while.
Yeah,
A good amount of people did nap though.
absolutely. Yeah,
And then
take the opportunity.
Yeah, the plan was to leave the Airbnb at 5.
That's always the plan.
I knew that wasn't going to happen, but it is a good thing that we said that because I had a feeling we were going to be late anyways, so it kind of timed out good because everyone was getting ready. There was only one like main bathrooms and a
Mhm.
lot of people wanted to shower and stuff. So we ended up calling the Ubers at around 6 is when we
Mhm.
called them. At this point, we didn't want any because we knew this was the main night. We wanted everybody to be able to drink. Specifically, they wanted me to be able to drink because I offered multiple times to be a DD. But they didn't want that. So it took us a while to get 2 Ubers to the point that, like, the first Uber, I was like, if you don't hear from us in the next 10, 15 minutes, we don't have an Uber, ask him if he'll come back and pick us up and we'll pay him in cash, which he was very willing to do.
Mhm.
Thankfully, we did end up getting an Uber and that all worked out well.
Mhm.
We got there. We all kind of stayed together for a little bit, gambled, and then everybody kind of split ways and played their own games and had fun and stuff like
Explored
that.
until it got time to meet for the reservation.
Yeah.
Then everybody met us at Cedars,
Mhm.
the steakhouse. We went in. All of us except Aaliyah ordered an espresso martini.
Yep, which it was
It was really good.
a really good espresso martini. I ended up getting 2 because they were so
Mhm.
good. I think you got 2 as well.
Mhm. Dinner was great.
It was really good.
Dinner was
What did you
really
get?
good.
Tell the class.
I got a Caesar salad with grilled garlic shrimp on top.
Yum. I got a filet, and then we got like sides to
Mhm.
share. We got mac and cheese, creamed spinach, mashed potatoes. I think. Yeah. You also tried an oyster for the first time.
I did, and I didn't hate it.
That's
I
good.
didn't hate it. I put a whole slice of lemon on it, so I squeezed the literal shit out of it. And then a couple dashes of Tabasco. Not bad at all.
I want to ask something without ruining oysters for you. Did it feel gross going down? Because you don't chew it, right? You literally
you
just like
don't chew
swallow
it.
it.
I immediately put it in my mouth and threw it back.
Yeah.
That's all I thought about.
Okay, but also, like, how can you enjoy it then? If like,
I feel like oysters is more of an experience than something you actually enjoy doing.
because they're so expensive
They are.
for you to literally just like
Suck them
swallow
down,
it like
yeah.
a pill.
So, but I did it, and they weren't bad. I don't foresee myself going out of my way to order them again.
Yeah, but if somebody was to offer one to you,
I would do it again.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
And I think it's more of an experience, not I'm going to order oysters because I love them.
Right.
Like, I'm going to order oysters because I'm going to a nice dinner or a really nice seafood restaurant.
Yeah. Okay,
So,
I got you. Yeah, it was good. We celebrated.
Mhm.
Obviously, that was like the fancy dinner and stuff like that. So we were able to celebrate. Kenzie, they brought over a brownie and sang happy birthday, and oh my
the brownie
god,
was delicious.
might be one of the best brownies I've ever had.
It was so good.
It melted in your mouth.
It
It was
did.
delicious.
It wasn't chewy. Like,
No,
it
like,
literally, so good.
my mouth is watering.
No, literally thinking about it.
It was so good, and I was full. So like, I'm sad we
Mhm.
between the whole table. I think we still had half of it left because
I
we were
think
all
so.
so full.
Yeah.
But oh, it was.
I mean, we
so
went ham on dinner too.
good.
Like,
Yeah. Well, it's expensive. You want to like
mhm.
you want to eat,
all of it because it's expensive.
and we knew that like we like kind of tried to take the leftovers, but
But we were going to be at the casino all night.
yeah.
So there was no point in taking leftovers.
Exactly. But it was a really nice dinner.
Yeah.
We all, had a good time. At that point, everyone was like feeling good. We got a few drinks. People continued to,
Mm-hmm.
feel good and stuff like that. Dinner was phenomenal. everybody loved their food.
Yeah.
And our waitress was
She was
phenomenal
really
too.
nice.
She was super nice. She totally like read the vibe of
We're just here to party.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like but it also was like a nice restaurant. So we were
Yes.
like for the most part we were being, very respectful and
Yes.
things like that too. So like she was having fun while also keeping the experience of being at a nice restaurant
Yes.
type
Yes.
situation.
So after dinner, we headed over to a club called Shrine.
Yep.
This was on the opposite side of dinner.
Yeah. That was over like if you know Foxwoods, the club that we went to was over by the Fox Tower.
Mhm.
Everything else was over by like the sports betting area.
Yeah. So we walk over there and we get in this club. It's a $20 fee to get in. Or not
Yeah.
fee.
A cover fee.
Oh, okay. So Sid and I pay, we go in, whatever. They're playing straight EDM.
Oh my gosh. It was so rough.
And even Kenzie's like, she's like, I don't want to leave because we just paid $20 to get in here. And she's like, and I was like, I don't like EDM. I even looked at Sydney.
None of us did.
I even looked at Sid and I was like, can I please take an edible? Like I'm painfully sober right now.
But it also was just like so cringy because it's like this EDM music, which is just like cringy all in itself, in my opinion. And then it's like 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, like grinding on each other to this weird ass EDM music.
Yeah, it was
and
weird in there.
Or it was literally like probably 19-year-olds with fakes, just like thinking they're the coolest things ever, probably high off their ass, who knows what. And then there was just like us on the dance floor, like, what the fuck
is happening? Yeah.
So I don't even think we stayed 20 minutes in there.
No. So then they go to the other club. And Sid and I both agreed because Sid and I paid everything together. It was already $40 for us to get into that first club.
And like we were in there for 20 minutes. I would have way rather put $40 on like a craps table and like had fun that way.
So everybody else goes into the next club, and the next club is playing good music.
Yeah.
I can hear it. But we both collectively agreed that like we weren't going to go in. So we went and sat on a couple slot machines, played around with that for a while. We weren't getting anything.
No.
So then we go over to the craps table. We have our last 100, our last 100
for the night that we wanted to play.
We're not going in there with like hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
No.
Our last 100 for the night, which I think
it lasted us a while. We played craps for a long time on that 100. We ended up losing it all. Like we were up at one point. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we did.
We were up at one point by like $40-$50 maybe, but we were having fun. So and like we knew that they were still going to be in the club.
Stop. It was a joke.
Piss off.
Sorry, I was winking for the people who aren't watching.
We were having fun.
We were having fun.
And we were getting some insane runs.
I was waiting because at one point we were at 174, but we were like on a good roll.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, once we hit 200, I'm going to tell Sydney we're cashing out and we can like go get cash and then put the $100 in again.
That's
and then
what we
go
like
with
to
that
do
one.
when we're up.
Right.
To break up the cash.
So, because at least at that point, we still have the 100 that we started with. And the 100 that's in there is the one that we can play with now.
Yeah. But we ended up playing for still a long time.
A very long time. But we ended up losing it all.
And at that point, it was like 1:30 a.m., 1:45. And before we had even got there, because that first Uber that we took over was me, Ariel, and Kenzie. And she had told us, like, I don't care how drunk I get tonight or whatever. I want to leave by 2. I don't want to stay out all night.
Yeah. And she goes, and when you're leaving, I will be leaving.
Yeah. She's like, I don't care if you have to drag me out. Like, I do not want to stay past 2. Like, okay, easy enough. So around that 1:30, 1:45, we had just lost our last 100. So we just texted her and said, hey, it's coming up on 2 a.m. We're going to order an Uber soon. Just giving you the heads up. And we were expecting like, okay, we'll see you in a little bit. She's like, okay, on my way out. No, she was ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Girl was ready.
Yeah. She had fun, but I do think that like even for me, because I was feeling good after dinner and we went straight to that EDM club. It sobered me up like almost instantly. Yeah. I think it really brought the vibe down for the entire night.
Yeah.
For everybody. And so she was ready to go.
Kenzie just said she was tired. Like,
yeah, well, she was still recovering from everything.
She's like, I'm tired. Like, I had
Yeah.
fun, but I'm tired. And I feel like if she hadn't have gone out the
On her
first, yeah,
birthday for that Thursday
she
night.
wouldn't be like exhausted
Yeah.
how she is right
Well,
now.
because she was never able to
Recover
recover.
fully because
She
we
wasn't
just,
sleeping in her own bed.
yep,
She stayed up until 3 at the fire that first night.
yep,
And I mean, it was a fun weekend and we had some chill moments. But when we were out, we were like
mm-hmm,
out having fun. It was go, go, go
yeah,
when we were out. So we ended up getting an Uber back, thankfully. And then everybody else kind of Ubered back to the house
yep.
after us. Um,
We set Maddie up on an air mattress,
yep.
and then we all just laid in bed, and Maddie and Abdul came and sat on Aaliyah's bed,
Oh my gosh, we have to.
and we just roasted Abdul
You
for the
gotta tell
next
why,
two
though.
hours.
You have to tell why, though.
So, because it was a fancy dinner, everybody had dressed up.
Yeah.
Abdul had dressed up in a dressy shirt, like a nice pair
Like
of
a button
pants.
down.
Yeah. And he had his shirt tucked in. Well, Abdul's going to the club, and Abdul's busting fucking moves in the club.
He was having a good time.
Yeah, to the point where these dudes, Abdul is black, these white dudes are coming up to him, and they're being like, bro, like, how do you do those moves and still keep your shirt tucked in? And so the rest of the night, all of us are like, Abdul, like, how did you keep your shirt tucked in?
We were just
We need your tucking skills.
ripping him, and then like when it's time for bed, I was like, Abdul, do you want us to tuck you in for bed? Like,
Yeah, it was
like, and
oh
it
my
was one of
God.
those like jokes. I'm sure you kind of had to be there type moments
But it was so
for like
funny.
a straight hour and a half.
Yeah.
We just kept any way we
Anything.
could bring up tucking something in.
Yes.
We could, and we just kept adding to
Yep.
it and adding to it and adding to it, and it was so fucking funny.
Well, and then, so Aaliyah and I both work with Abdul. So Aaliyah and I were at work on Monday, and a kid wasn't listening to Abdul. Aaliyah goes, I bet if you had your shirt tucked in, he'd be listening
Oh
to
my
you.
god.
And so it's like,
That's funny.
it's just like the little things that we can do to, like, I guess, grow closer as coworkers. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, that was a really good time.
Yeah.
Foxwoods was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. And then that Sunday morning, for the most part, we lucked out, thankfully, because the checkout was supposed to be at 10,
Mhm.
and they gave us late checkout until noon, which was super nice because the only people who were up were me, Ariel, and Aaliyah. And, like, everybody didn't even wake up until 10 because
Oh, you're missing a very key point here.
oh my gosh,
Sydney
you're
and
so
I were
right.
sleeping, and all of a sudden, both of us happened to readjust at the exact same time.
I also would like to point out, before you guys get any ideas, we genuinely, it was a very small room, and we
Mhm.
always had somebody in our room next to us because there was a full bed, and then right next to it was a twin bed.
Yeah.
So we did not do anything that weekend, I would like to point out. Now continue.
That didn't even cross my mind.
Well, that's normally how things like that break,
Okay,
babe.
fine. It didn't break.
Well, it didn't, but
So we adjust at the exact same time.
it was like 6:37 a.m.
What happens? A slat on the bottom of the bed frame just falls out.
We thought it broke at the time.
Yes.
We thought it snapped.
And Sydney goes, Are we gonna look at that? I was like, no, I'm gonna go back to sleep.
Because meanwhile, Aaliyah's asleep next to us, 2 feet away.
I went right back to sleep.
Well, yeah, because I was like, should we get up and like check it or like try and fix it? And you're like, well, it hasn't moved, so just don't move and we'll fall asleep in this position.
Yep.
And we did. We tried to, but because I like woke up and I was worried, like I was kind of awake and I had
So
to
then
pee.
she had
I
to
was like,
pee.
shoot.
So I literally, she goes, honey, I have to pee. I said, fucking Christ.
Yeah, you were not too happy.
She goes, get up slow. And then I go to get up. She goes, slow. I said, I am going slow.
And then at that point, so she ends up laying at the bottom of the bed where the slat like wasn't broken or had fallen out, because we assume it's broken at this point. We didn't realize until after that it had just fallen out. And so I go to the bathroom, whatever, I come back and she has the one like good spot, right?
Yeah.
I'm like,
oh yeah, and I'm passed back out
she's
already.
passed out. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, our alarm's gonna be going off in the next like hour to hour and a half, because I'm thinking we have to check out at 10. And I'm like, there's a good amount of like cleaning we have to do and packing and stuff. So I'm like, do I get up and try to kind of start cleaning now? But poor Maddie's sleeping in the living room, so I can't really start cleaning. Like, if I can't pack up in here because you and Aaliyah are sleeping. Like, all right, then do I just like awkwardly stand here for an hour and a half, or do I like sit on the hardwood floor on my phone and like put TikTok on like volume one? I'm like, ugh, I'm kind of tired. So I was like, all right, if she's at completely one end of the bed, even though the slat felt kind of towards the top of the bed, I'm like, if I go all the way to the edge, I might be okay. So I like slowly get in, and thankfully I was like fine.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of awake at this point, so I just went on my phone for a little bit. Eventually fell back asleep. Our alarm goes off at like 8:30, I think, is
Yeah.
when we had it set. And thankfully that's when you're like, oh my gosh, she gave us late checkout
Well,
until
yeah, because I was
noon.
like, she goes, the cleaners won't be there till 11, or till noon. I just want to give you a heads up. Just let me know when you leave. I said, okay, I can do that. I was like, is it a possibility to check out at least at like, 10:30, 11 o'clock? And she goes, oh no, please stay till noon. She goes, enjoy it. She goes, you take an easy Sunday morning. I was like, oh, chef's kiss, right back to bed.
Yeah, it was super helpful.
Yeah.
And the only people who knew were me, you,
And
and
Aaliyah.
Aaliyah. We hadn't
And
told anybody.
nobody else had gotten up.
No. So thankfully, nobody else set an alarm. We obviously would
Yeah.
have just woken them up ourselves.
Yeah.
But it worked out. Everybody was able to sleep in. We ended up going back to sleep for another like hour to hour and a half.
Well, and I texted Kenzie, and I think I texted Kenzie, and I was like, hey, we don't have to check out till noon. Like, just so you have a heads up.
Yeah. In case she did have an alarm
Mm-hmm.
set, but
And she woke up at one point. She woke up at like 10:30, and she's like, okay, good, I'm going back to bed. I
Yeah.
said, okay, good, see you then.
It's a little late at this point now,
Yeah.
Kenzie, but sure, do your thing.
Yeah.
And then, we packed up
Mm-hmm.
the Airbnb, everything went smooth. A good amount of almost everybody went home at that point.
Yeah, except me, Kenzie, and you.
Yeah, because funny enough, my mom and Rich ended up being at Foxwoods that Sunday morning, and they got there right at noon, which is when we left. So we went over there and we decided to get lunch with her. But while they were checking in to their hotel room because they were staying the night, we were like, well, we're going to have to wait for them to check in and walk over from the tower anyways. Let's play craps for a little bit and we can kind of teach Kenzie because it's just the three of us. So we sit down.
We're letting Kenzie roll. At this point, we're taking turns. Kenzie will go. Sid will go. I will go. We are on an insane run.
It was crazy. At this point,
And if
we were down like probably like 300 to 350 bucks, I would say, as far as gambling goes.
Yeah.
That's how down we were for the weekend.
How much did you say?
I think like 350.
I think so. So there's this thing that we bet on. It's called small, tall, and all. So
And it's
the
the
numbers,
lucky roller.
yeah. So
bet.
it's the numbers from 2 to 12, excluding 7. You have to get all of those numbers, not in a row, just at some point without getting a 7, because then a 7 will reset the whole board. We are on an insane run. We get the small one first.
And the small one pays 1 to 30.
So we had $1 on, so we got $30 back. And then all of a sudden, we hit the 10 that we needed, and we got 100.
So then that means we also hit the tall side of it, so we got another 30, and we hit the full one.
For 155.
So just by getting that alone, put us
Right.
up well over $200 just on that one.
Right, but that's not including the insane run that we had to get there.
Yeah.
So we were just getting money and money and
the
money.
amount of money
After
that we had on the table
Yep.
with that run.
We cashed right out.
Yeah.
We said we made our money back. We're done.
We were at that point. We
were-
made almost all of our money back.
And we were up like $130, I think.
Yep. And we were like, all right, cash
Yeah.
out. We're done. This
Yeah.
is huge. We go get lunch with my mom and Rich. And it was super nice. We got to catch up with them for a tiny bit. Rich was very excited because he was betting on his horse races that weekend. My mom was telling us about the spa and the massage that she had booked and stuff. And then my mom left because she had to go to the spa appointment. We finished up our lunch with Rich for a tiny bit. And then I was like, well, let's just check and make sure we don't have any free play before we head out. And you wanted to play Planet Moolah because that was the only one we hadn't played yet. So I ended up having like $45 in free play.
Yeah.
I think you had 25
25
in free play. So we didn't put any money
No.
in the machines.
So I sit down at Planet Moolah, and the guy before me was doing a $6 bet. So I didn't even realize that the first bet I did was $6.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, great. So then I just went back to my normal bet, lost it all. And then I go over to Sydney, and Sydney's in the middle of a fucking,
Like a bonus.
thank you, a bonus. And I'm like, oh my God.
So I won $85 on that bonus out
And
of
then,
free play. So I cashed that out and I still had like $20 in my free
yeah,
play. I lost that $20. But
but you
without
still had
putting
80.
a cent of our own money in,
You just got 80.
which meant we won everything back that we had lost that
Yeah.
entire weekend,
And then,
thankfully.
yeah.
And I think maybe up like $20 or $40.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
So that was huge because we
Crazy.
thought we weren't gonna win anything, as far as gambling goes.
Yeah.
And that morning we absolutely crushed it.
Yep. And then we walked out and didn't look back.
Well, we got the donuts.
You're right. There's this place called Sprinkles where they make like fresh donuts in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Delicious.
Yeah, they're super good.
We got s'mores, cookies and cream, peanut butter and jelly, and blueberry cheesecake. They were really good.
They were. It was a little. I mean, it's Foxwoods. They were a little overpriced because they were
Yes.
tiny.
They were
like
tiny.
basically the size of like a munchkin.
Mm-hmm.
But they were like kind of fancy, and they literally were made like super. Like they were hot.
Yeah.
You watched them being made
Yep.
through a window for you.
Delicious.
So they were super good, but they were definitely because we got what 12 donuts for like $20 or $30. It was like kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Which one was your favorite?
Mine, I think the cookies and cream was my favorite.
No, I don't think. I think because that was my favorite, and you guys all judged me. Because my favorite was the Oreo, then it was s'mores, then it was the cheesecake, then it was the peanut butter and jelly.
I think
that was mine.
I think mine was the s'mores because
I think so too.
I liked the chocolate on it.
The fudge was delicious. It was a very high quality fudge. I think that was Kenzie's favorite too. Was the s'more.
Then we drove home, and Kenzie and I passed out, and Sid drove home.
Yep, you guys slept, and we drove back here. Kenzie went home. We unpacked some of our stuff, and you and I just chilled on the couch. I think
we had something to do.
I had to like pick something up for work or something. I think.
No, we had to clean because we had Riley and
that's right.
all of them coming over the day after.
Mm-hmm. We did clean the apartment, but it wasn't too bad. It just needed a quick little neaten up because we thought they were spending the night. Which, if you haven't watched that episode,
definitely
go friggin' watch it. They ended up not spending the night, but we just wanted to make sure that everything, like the spare bedroom, was clean because we had a bunch of like I had my ski stuff still laying out on the spare bed and stuff, so it wasn't anything crazy. We just wanted to make sure it was ready for somebody to come be able to use the bed.
And then this past weekend, Sid had made it a note in our calendar that it was date night. So we watched this guy called Roman Atwood, and I was fully ready to drive the 11 hours to Ohio and try and meet Roman Atwood while we were there.
Yeah, because, okay, for context there, we're not like super crazy, just going to Ohio.
Sorry. He has a laundromat there, and he's in the laundromat almost every single day.
Yeah, he goes a good amount.
Yes.
And like people go there knowing that he's going to be there. Like, he's very open. Anytime he's there, he takes photos, he'll sign anything, and like he daily vlogs and stuff, so like you can say hi on the vlog and like. And
there's merch that you can only get there.
Yeah, he sells merch there on site that you can only buy there, and a good amount of it's pretty cheap too. It's not.
Yeah, it's not crazy
expensive. So like,
I was fully ready.
We're not crazy just going to try and like stalk somebody because he lives in Ohio, and we're gonna go scout around Ohio.
Yeah, no. I was like, I want to go to the car, not the car, because he owns the car wash too. I want to go to the laundromat. I want to like, it's cool to see these people on a screen, but like imagine seeing these people in person.
And we see it every day.
We watch it every day. So it's like, I was like, let's do it. Why don't we drive to Ohio?
And we had the whole weekend free, technically.
Yeah. And it was supposed to be date night. I was like, why don't we just do it? We'll go, we'll have a good time. And then Sid gets here, or I get home, and I was like, so what are we doing for date night? Like, do you have any ideas? I had texted her earlier in the day that I wanted Taco Bell. She's like, oh yeah, maybe we can do that for dinner. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, all of a sudden there's a knock at the door, and I'm just lying on the couch waiting for Sydney to come back. And all of a sudden there's a knock at the door. I turned and I'm like,
well, I got up to go to the kitchen.
Yeah. I was like,
she's like, go get the door. I was like, no, I'm not getting the door. Which she
would have gotten the door.
I would never let Ariel answer the door to a random knock.
No.
But I was like, babe, you
But in
get
the
the door.
moment, I didn't think about that. In the moment, I was like,
Yeah.
I have to get up and open the door.
I was like, babe, go get the door. I pretend like I was in the middle of something.
So I got up and I answered the door and I'm looking straight. And then all of a sudden I look down and I'm like, it was our baby. Our niece Jade came for the weekend and it was so fun. We got to have a sleepover. She slept in our bed.
Mm-hmm.
She was
Marshall and Coda
Coda were
also
also, yes.
joined. But when they knocked on the door, they left Jade right in front of the door and they like hid around the corner.
Yeah. I was like, my sweet girl is here. So she walks now. So she was like running through the house. She says kitty. So every time the cat was walking by, she would be like kitty. And it was magical. And
Yes.
I cried when she left.
I've had this planned. Coda reached out to me maybe like a month ago. And because we had done this last year, like towards the end of the summer. Because the last time we had done it was because we were like obviously getting ready for our wedding and stuff like that. And I had planned a whole day with my sister, who was my maid of honor and stuff. And we like went into the mall and we had gotten some stuff for the wedding and like we just hung out and it was like a fun little day for like me and my sister to like prepare for the wedding. And I felt really bad that you didn't get the opportunity to do that with your sister. But it was really because obviously distance, but also because she had a newborn basically at that point. So I had asked Coda and I was like, hey, would you be down to do this? Like, obviously you can bring Jade, you can spend the night if you want, like, and I can either keep Jade here while you guys are out, or if you feel more comfortable, like, I'll tag along in the mall and you guys just do your thing and I'll be on baby duty. But if you feel more comfortable, I'll join you. And she's like, well, why don't you join anyways? So we had done that a while ago. So when she reached out, she's like, let's do it again. Jade's older. She doesn't need like as much of like, you know,
hands-on
attention types. Obviously she's only one. So
Yeah.
yes, she does, but she wasn't, 3 months old.
Yeah.
And it was super fun. I like baby proofed the apartment. You came home, the apartment was spotless.
I was like, oh my God, you cleaned the entire apartment. I was like, thank you.
It was really because I wanted to make sure that everything was baby proof and that like
that Jade wouldn't touch anything.
Yeah. And like even just like cleaning the spare bedroom, the amount of like little Lego pieces that were on the ground that like we didn't even realize, like it was just stupid stuff like that. And Marshall apparently had never had Chipotle before because he lives up in the sticks. So Coda really wanted him to try Chipotle, so that's where we went for dinner. Jade got a little quesadilla, which was super cute. We walked around Marshall's a tiny bit. We got Dairy Queen on the way home. And then we kind of just hung out here for a bit. She slept with me and Ariel, which was super fun, which gave Marshall and Coda like a night to just chill. They played some video games while we had baby duty.
Yeah, and we'll insert some photos because I have tons of photos too. This girl will sleep anyway. It does not matter. On her stomach, on her back, on my neck. Like
sitting like basically straight up on you. It was so funny.
It doesn't matter. She'll sleep however. And she was really good. She slept pretty much the entire night. She woke up at...
She fell asleep at like 9 p.m.
Woke up at like 1:30, I think. 1 maybe.
Fussed around a tiny bit.
Yep, she cried, which in turn made me like wake right up. And so I took her bottle and I made her a bottle and she fell right back asleep. And
she slept until 8:30. She slept almost a full 12 hours.
Yeah.
Like
girl was zonked.
Yeah. But we were playing with her all day. Like she was in a new environment. She was super excited to see us.
By the time she got home, or by the time she got back here, she was exhausted.
Yeah, she was already pretty tired.
Yeah. So
and
we also gave her a bath.
Oh yeah, we did. We gave her a bath.
That was so fun.
That was super fun. And it was funny because Ariel went to like pour the water over her head to like wash her hair.
Whoa.
And she doesn't like it going over her eyes and stuff, which I don't really blame her a tiny bit. And she was like trying to like crawl away. She was like kind of freaking out. But it was like
super slippery, so then she would slip and I'm like, oh my God.
It was like super funny. We're like cracking up laughing. She's like struggling low key, but it's also like adorable. It was super funny. And then the next morning she obviously woke up and we got Dunks for breakfast. We just door dashed it here. She was playing around, having a good time.
You got Wingstop.
Yeah, she hung out for a little bit and then got tired again, so we laid down for a nap. I think around like 10:30-ish maybe. And she fell asleep between my legs.
I know.
It was the cutest thing ever.
And Coda texted me and she's like, I want Wingstop because they don't have anything like that up there either.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's fine. So we door dashed Wingstop here. And we all got dressed,
Mm-hmm.
went to the mall.
We went
Really
to
just
Build-A-Bear.
Yeah, they got her the cutest little bear.
It was so cute. She was kind of scared of the machine a tiny
Yeah.
bit, but she did really like the bear, which was super cute.
Mhm.
We went to the van store, and they got her another pair of Vans, which was super fun. They got like family
Yeah, they
matching
got
Vans.
family matching ones, which I think is cute.
Yeah. We walked around a few stores, but didn't really find anything
No.
else. And then it was downpour. Oh, also we put the car seat in our car, so
Yes.
we got to drive her around to the mall and stuff, which was also kind of fun. But when it was time to leave the mall,
It was pouring.
like torrential downpouring.
Mm-hmm.
So it was such a struggle. Me and Marshall went and we got the cars, and I was soaked just from trying to run to the car. Picked you guys up, and we're trying to put Jade in the car seat, but we don't know. Jade's car seat was the first time we'd ever put her in, and we couldn't find a freaking button that
I know. So I'm getting soaked.
and while she's trying to figure that out, I'm trying to put the stroller in Marshall's car to help them out with that because they like didn't want the stuff that they bought to get wet, so Coda had that. It was like this whole thing, and we were all, but Jade was for the most part dry.
She was
wasn't
great. Yeah.
super wet. The four of us were
soaked,
soaking wet.
Mm-hmm.
And
I made sure she was like covered.
Yeah. And just the 10-minute drive home,
she was falling asleep so hard.
I felt so bad. Thankfully, I was in the back seat, so that way I could buckle her in and not be getting soaking wet once we figured out how to unbutton it or hit the button to loosen it. And I felt so, I was trying to play with her, and she would like fall asleep while playing. And then I would like low-key have to, we had like, there was like a little Spider-Man stuffed animal toy. And I was like having to almost like hit her with it to like keep her awake. And I was like trying to like lift her arms up, but she was actually like, anything I was doing was not keeping that poor girl awake.
And then because we wanted her to be able to sleep the drive home.
Because the poor kid gets car sick now.
Like really bad. Like is prescribed medication because
and we knew
really
that they were
car sick.
Leaving after.
Mm-hmm.
They literally just had to like pack up their stuff when we had to move the car seat over to her car. So I was like, we literally just need to keep her awake for the next like
then she came in
20
here.
minutes.
Right. Then she came in here and we ran her around a little more while she was in here.
She got super fussy though.
Yeah.
Poor kid.
Yeah, she was tired.
Changed her into PJs and stuff like that.
And then I think Coda said she didn't even last till they got to the interstate. And we're 3 minutes down from the interstate.
Right.
So
it was super fun.
And this weekend we've had.
Ariel cried as soon as they left. The door had barely even shut.
And I'm sobbing.
She's like, I miss her already.
I know. I did.
No, I know. I was sad that they left too. We had fun.
Yeah. And this Sunday has been pretty much just hanging out, cuddling, doing whatever.
Playing some video games.
And now recording a podcast.
Yep.
Which, with that, I think this is probably a good place to end it.
Yeah, I think so too.
We can hop right into the next one if you want.
Yeah.
Now that we're at the end of the episode.
What?
Are you going to tell me no to talk about tonight? Because you said talk about it earlier.
We just made a plan for dinner.
You're right. I don't want that plan for dinner. I want to talk about. Anyway, thanks for watching and listening.
Yes.
Make sure you rate and like the podcast. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, Spotify.
Well done.
Thank you. And YouTube. You can find us at It's Worth a Laugh pretty much anywhere.
Yeah.
We have any social media thing except for Twitter that you can think about.
Yeah.
We have everything.
It's called X now, babe.
Sorry.
Actually, I'd never had Twitter growing up.
Me either.
So that's honestly why I don't have it, because I wouldn't even know how to use it in the first place.
And I wouldn't want it. It's not worth it to me.
All right. Well, thank you for joining this week's episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our little story times and updates and the things that we've done these last few days. And we're going to wrap it up, and we'll see you guys in a bit. 3, 2, 1.
Goof out.
Bye.